Grand for Ferrari, take a video tour in and around beautiful Atlanta and thrill to some great racing right here on the IMSA Grand Prix Hour. Brought to you in part Race. Valvoline, people who know use Valvoline. And Firestone, tires that meet the test. Right now, let's go trackside with IMSA Grand Prix Hour announcers Bill Bowser and Brad Sears.
The cars are about ready to leave the starting grid here at Road Atlanta for the 17th running of the Nissan Grand Prix of Road Atlanta. Two classes of automobiles on the track here today. The Grand Touring prototypes, almost 1,000 horsepower under the hood, and speeds of almost 200 miles an hour on this track. The smaller, not quite as powerful, the Camel light automobiles, highly maneuverable, highly competitive automobiles. There are going to be two races on the track. The Grand Touring prototypes and the lights. Not only that, there'll be two drivers for each car. That means a mandatory pit stop. These automobiles will have to make at least 2 pit stops during the course of the afternoon. This very short race, 124 laps, 500 kilometers. Just a little over 2 hours from now, the checker flag will fall. Who's going to win it? Maybe the road. You know, the mechanics are going to have a lot to do with how this race turns out. The fastest pit stops may just very well affect the outcome of this race. Bowser for today's race.
On the starting grid on the front row, the car number 61, the XJR10 Jaguar. That's the twin-turbo V6 for this short Road Atlanta track. John Nielsen, the Dane, will be at the controls. That car got the pole with a record-breaking 1 minute 10.037 over the circuit, and that's set by Price Cobb, the other driver in the lead Jaguar. Row 1, car number 98, the Dan Gurney-prepared Toyota Eagle automobile. Drake Olson of Connecticut, the driver there. Back in the second row, Chip Robinson to the IMSA Nissan ZX Turbo. Alongside 83, Geoff Brabham, the 89 Camel GT champion of IMSA on that row. And then in fifth spot, Davy Jones of Cortland, New York, drives the second Jaguar XJR10 number 60.
Let's take a tour of the track. Down the front straightaway, across the start-finish line. Turn 1, up the a little hook to the left and then a hook to the right. From there we go down the hill through the S's, a slow part of the course. Bottom of the hill, a left-hander, a short straightaway, up into a hard right-hand turn, a very short straight, another hard right-hand turn, and the fastest part of the course. This is the back straightaway, about 4,000. 185 or so miles an hour as they approach the Goodyear Bridge. Under the bridge, down the hill, and a right-hander onto the front straightaway, across the start-finish line, and then that ends the tour of the track. This is a 2.5-mile track. It is fast on the back straightaway. The cars are on the back straightaway now following the pace car. They come up over the hill. As they approach the crest of the hill, they are lining up, still doing their dance to warm the tires up and beginning to get ready for the start of this race.
Lights are out on top of the pace car. We're getting ready for the beginning of this event here today. They're side by side behind the pace car, coming down now for the 1990 edition of the Nissan Grand Prix at Road Atlanta.
Bill and I will be right back after these messages on the IMSA Grand Prix Hour for the drop of the green flag.
They come now to pace car will pull off to the left side. Starter Jim Sidley gives the green flag. We'll see a beginning now to the Nissan Grand Prix of Road Atlanta. Down to turn 1 they'll go. Lead car, the man with the pole, John Nielsen in the Jaguar XJR10 6-cylinder, goes into turn 1, pulls 2, 3, maybe 4 car lengths ahead of the second place Nissan of Chip Robinson. Up over the hill they come. The Jaguar now has about a 2-3 car lead, slows just a little bit in a hard left-hand turn, takes it to the inside, a little bit of dust out on the track being kicked up by the lead cars. It's Jaguar, Nissan, it'll be Toyota, then Nissan, then the other Jaguar as they come through the S's. A little bit of an uphill after a downhill run. They'll go uphill a long ways, a little bit of a dip after a straightaway. Then they go to a hard right-hander that will bring them in on that right-hander. The Jaguar, the 6-cylinder this time, it's twin turbocharged, this 6-cylinder car, rather than the 12-cylinder they use on the longer tracks. They're back now to this turbocharged V6 twin-turbo automobile. He pulls now 7, 8, maybe 9 car lengths away. Here comes Drake Olson up onto the back of Chip Robinson in the Nissan. The Toyota the present time, letting the Jaguar pull just a little bit further ahead. They'll finish lap number 1, come down onto the blue stripe a little bit. Hard right turn on the last one, going into lap number 2. The Jaguar, a little bit of sparks flying from one of the cars in second and third place as they go off a little bit of the berm. Up out of turn 1 into turn 2 now, and a little bit of dust off the wheels of the XJR10 Jaguar of Nielsen, the driver. Here comes Chip Robinson, second place. Now Robinson goes off course, spins once, twice around, comes to a stop, seems okay, doesn't contact anything, but it looks like trouble for the 84 blue and red Nissan of Chip Robinson out of Old Wick, New Jersey on lap number 2. And that brings out the yellow flag. We're under caution in this event for the first time today.
The pace car comes out, Bill. They're going to collect the field. That means a caution, and that's all caused by Robinson's spin. Pace car comes around turn 1. The field should collect up behind the pace car, reform for a restart. 79 is in the pits, a little bit early for a pit stop in this race, but 79 had a disastrous fire in the engine yesterday. They spent all night putting the car back together to get it running. The replay, Robinson blows the engine, puff of smoke, oil undoubtedly on the rear tires. The brakes are on as he crests the hill. Look at the smoke coming out of the back end of the automobile. With that much smoke, there's only one thing: the engine is blown. Now, evidently, he did get oil in the rear tires. He's off the track, a rooster tail of dirt up behind the car. It spins. You know, when the engine blows this early in the race, that means that he's going to sit around and watch everybody else race for the rest of the day. There's no damage to the automobile. He hasn't hit anything, just up in the grass in a safe area.
A spin in turn number 7. The blue automobile, that's the Buick car, driven by Charles. Just sits out in the middle of the turn. One car goes by to the outside now. Corner workers, turn workers from the SCCA come out to the car to attend to it, trying really to get it off course, giving it a push, trying to make way for the rest of the field to go by. Another of the automobile speed hazy. Number 5, the Pontiac Firebird, Malibu, California driver Geoff Klein, also doing a bit on an incident. It looks, however, like he might be moving, so he may be able to get it underway. He does, so there'll be no problem with that automobile of Geoff Klein.
This is a car that burned 2 weeks ago at Sebring. Schubert put the car back together again in time for today's race, but evidently he's got some problems that's going to put him out of the running today. They're putting the engine cover back, taking off his helmet. Looks like the day is over.
An off-course excursion for Davy Jones of Cortland, New York, in the XJR10 Jaguar. He's going to try to bring it back on to court. He almost buried it. When he does, he comes over the FIA curbing with a big jolt before he goes back onto the racing circuit. Up now in through the S's they're going. And once again, it is 1 and 2 off the restart. They'll go up that long straightaway once again to that big, long, hard right-hand turn that they have to take from the apex side to the exit of the turn, as he does in the Jaguar. Then as he comes back out to the other side of the turn, a little bit of a straightaway in between the two turns up on the back chute. Doesn't slow them down much. The Jaguar and the Toyota, Nissan right behind and lights ablaze on the Nissan ZX Turbo.
If you look for a different lifestyle other than here at the racetrack, head 45 miles south of Road Atlanta. There's something there for everyone. A marvelous highway system, up-to-date architecture, all through those buildings found anywhere in the world. Nightlife, country, golf, anything that you want to do, there's something here for you. Or ride on one of the most modern underground railway systems to be found. The arts abound. If flowers, fabulous gardens of Atlanta. Or look at Stone Mountain, a man-made carving on the side of a hill. Atlanta, a city surrounded by a transportation hub in a serene setting. It's cosmopolitan. Yet history. It's Atlanta, a city of the 21st century. Davy Jones is in the pits. Look at that Georgia clay underneath the front of the automobile. Cleaning out the air scoops. Got to clean the air scoops out good so that the radiator will get some cooling air. The new nose goes on the automobile. That'll put the car back out on the track, back in the running again. Look at Olson and the Toyota pressing the Jaguar, really putting the push on them as they come up through that turn, down through the turn. Olson They're flying, trying to get Gurney's Toyota up into first place. He's running in second behind the Jaguar. Underneath the bridge they go with the Nissan right on their tail. Down the hill, the push third place and out to the start-finish line.
Drake is threatening for the lead, and Juan is just getting a feel for things. We had problems during practice, so we don't have quite right, and he's having to live with it at the moment.
Can you correct that in the pit stop when you do the fuel
I
tires?
think so. We can make an improvement on it anyway.
As a Charger, love to duel.
Well, this is what the crowd came to see today.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And the fans sure get to this racing, the Jaguar and the Toyota, 1 and 2, as they have been pretty much since the beginning of the event. Now the Toyota goes underneath the bridge, goes to the inside, and now the Jaguar comes into the pits, and it'll be the Toyota taking over as the Jaguar pits. The Toyota comes down the line. The rest of the field follows through. Down into turn number 1 they go. A pass to the outside. Come uphill now, and of course the gear changes here being very, very important in an uphill portion. This is a roller coaster course. There's 32. Fermin Velez out of Spain. He's going to try to make it almost 2-3-1 once again to try to put that Camel Lights car into another position ahead of the other automobiles. He's putting it onto the back of the number 8 Buick automobile. So 2 Camel Lights. Atlanta. Fermin Velez, the young Spanish driver, about 5 foot tall, young, very handsome young man, but he can really, really tool around, and this automobile showed its muscle with Tomas Lopez and Fermin Velez, the drivers. And at Miami, an international city, also doing a great job there going into Victory Circle. Number 8 blue automobile, the Essex racing car, and Fermin Velez, the Spaniard, aboard the number 32. Nose to tail they come, and Buick as they come downhill again here at Road Atlanta and go behind some of this fine crowd in the infield here this beautiful sunny afternoon. 2 of the Buick light machines doing battle up and downhill and around those corners, as Velez giving a little bit more of a room to the number 8 car.
I don't know. This is pass on Morgan.
So once again, Charlie Morgan of Arkansas looks in his rearview mirrors, and he could be put a lap down by Fermin Velez. They come down by the start-finish stripe right now, down the last turn of the 2.5-mile Road Atlanta course. They go to turn 1. Down to the inside goes Fermin Velez. The Spaniard takes Charlie Morgan.
Putting Velez, the only lights car, on the lead lap. Driving the Jaguar, the 61 Jaguar, mostly white car with green trim, is in first place. Drake Olson, the Toyota, the number 98 car, is in second place. Geoff Brabham, blue 83 Nissan, in third place. Davy Jones in the other Jaguar, the number 60 car, in fourth place. And Bernard Jourdain in the Chevy, the number 33 car, in fifth place. 25 laps down, 99 to go, right here on the IMSA Grand Prix Hour.
Back between some of the Camel GT prototype cars of IMSA, almost a pass to try to put 2 cars a lap down in that field by John Paul Jr. out of West Palm, Florida, driving the Jim Busby prepared Nissan CX Turbo. That's the yellow, blue, and white automobile chasing down the blue Pontiac Firebird of Geoff Klein, Malibu, California. He runs in 8th place, while the 9th place, number 30, John Piero Moretti-owned Momo automobile, a Porsche 962C, driven by Englishman Derek Bell. Bell, great endurance driver, not only the 24 hours of Daytona, but 24 hours of Le Mans. Up the hill comes the Momo Porsche, the Pontiac Firebird, the blue automobile, and then the yellow, white, and blue Nissan of Busby. John Paul Jr. trying to put those 2 a lap down. Remember, he's running 4th, Klein in the blue car 5th, Derek Bell in the red car running in 9th position, but it seems that he cannot get around them. Even though he may have the speed and the power in that twin-turbo ZX automobile, the Nissan, he's seemingly not having the space. He does go to the inside now of Geoff Klein. He'll take Klein, have to pull in, not being able to take Derek Bell this time around anyway. Meantime, the ZX Turbo Nissan, the blue car, which of course chasing down the Nissan number 83, chasing down the Jaguar XJR10. The Jaguar goes off, car number 60 off course once again. This is the second trip off, kicking up the red Georgia dust here at Road Atlanta for that number 60 machine. Manages to get it back on, comes off the berm, but kicked up an awful lot of dust. A trip off the course at Road Atlanta, sometimes doing damage to the cars. The 60 automobile apparently not going to come into the pits at this time. A lot of red dust over to the left side of that machine. He is slowing, however, as some of the Camel light cars are going by. So that second trip off for the 60 XJR10 Jaguar not doing it any good at all. Down the hill once again, and it looks as if the Nissan motoring on, lights ablaze as it comes off the S's and uphill. This is a roller coaster course, this 2.5-mile circuit at Road Atlanta. Smoke coming from the Denon Ferrari, the number 80 automobile of Rogero Melgrati and Martino Finotto. That Ferrari showing smoke as it goes behind. It comes down underneath the Goodyear Bridge, and the Ferrari will come to the pits with left side smoke showing. And Brad?
Bill, when there's that much oil out behind an automobile, it's either a very serious oil leak or the engine has gone bye-bye. They put oil in that car a couple of laps ago, and now it's back in the pits again.
The 15th place Toyota Eagle, number 99, the white and orange automobile. A Dan Gurney prepared All-American Racers Toyota. Rocky Moran, who's had seatbelt trouble all day long, not being able to get those seat belts adjusted just the way he likes them, being uncomfortable or not, he is going to pick up another of the lap. Even though he's running 15th, he'll take the 7th place running Pontiac Firebird, the blue car driven by Geoff Klein of Malibu, California. He'll motor ahead of him maybe 1-2 car lengths, a little bit of a bobble out of Geoff Klein's number 5 car as they come down off of one of the hills down in the back portion of this Road Atlanta 2.5-mile circuit. Meanwhile, after passing the Pontiac Firebird, Rocky Moran, seatbelts unadjusted or not, is pulling well way ahead of the rest of the cars that he just managed to go around.
Still working on the engine on the Ferrari. This looks like a long and expensive pit stop for the Ferrari.
The 61 Castrol Jaguar, John Nielsen aboard still. The Dane driving, sitting in 3rd place. And the 7th place, number 16, Porsche 962. That's a Ralph Dyson Racing Porsche. Hurley Haywood out of Jacksonville, Florida. Now pretty much a permanent fixture on that team with Scott Pruitt's injury in an Indy kart car. They'll go through the S's, and the 61 Jaguar pulls just a little bit ahead. The green and white Castrol Jag pulls another 3, 4, maybe 5 car lengths, seeing in his rear view mirror that Hurley Haywood in the white Porsche number 16 is trying to pick up, catch, and maybe pass him, and possibly pick up another lap.
Let's take a look at Racing Lifestyles with Don Westcott.
What makes a winner in Grand Prix racing? Most will agree that caring for the machines is essential. But the Nissan team believes that, like the Army, a Grand Prix racing crew travels on its stomach.
Well, the basic setup here is for the crew of Nissan, for the team members and for the team. The thing that we want to do here is that we're trying to accomplish is to get the team over here and eat lunch so they don't have to worry about things about where they're going to eat during that day, and that they have everything that they need here as far as food and hospitality are concerned. When the drivers go out onto the racetrack and they come back in after a test session, we have a hospitality area, a private area, where they can go up and discuss how the setup of the car is handling without being bothered by the people around. Then if the team members want to come over here during any time of the day, they can come over and eat lunch when they want to. We'll have food out here all day for them. They don't have to worry about going to the concession stand to eat lunch. This allows them to focus entirely on the racing team and on the car. They don't want to be bothered with things like this, and that's what we're here to do, keep them happy.
My wife and I come up with this idea in 1985 and decided there was a niche in the racing circuit for somebody to debrief a race driver and to have an area where he could relax and discuss with his crew what's going on and get away from the pressures of the race car.
Is the Rutman's creative concepts the secret behind Nissan's success? If you tried their seafood Alfredo, you'd have to say yes. And bon appetit.
And now back to racing action on the IMSA Grand Prix Hour. Right here, we got a battle going on for 8th place. The number 16 car, the white Porsche, driven by James Weaver of England, is in 8th place. Behind it, the number 64, the yellow Chevrolet, driven by Taylor, is trying to take over 8th place. He's looking to the inside. He's going to the inside on the turn. Oh, no, the Porsche comes across in front of them. They both brake hard. They lose it. Both cars off into the grass. The Porsche continues on, but the Chevrolet, Taylor, oh, there he is. He restarted the engine, the flames out of the exhaust, and up the hill he goes. Up on the grass till he gets beyond the FIA curbing, and then he'll drive back out onto the track safely. Hopefully no traffic coming.
Now a very slow car, number 67 automobile. That's the yellow, blue, white 67 Jim Busby car, looking like he's going left and right, maybe having a steering problem at the present time. Kevin Cogan is the driver, and Cogan, having somewhat of a problem, goes to the inside of the course, just creeping along very, very slowly, even trying to jiggle the car a little bit. That could indicate that there's a fuel problem aboard, trying to put more fuel into the pickup so that it can go into the powerful Nissan engine. Now downhill, he's able to coast a little bit in that automobile. Jim Busby prepared car out of California, one of the 88 Nissans, of course, of the factory team, bought by Busby, and then, of course, made into this configuration and sponsored by the B.F. Goodrich people as you see them coming downhill.
Here's the leaderboard about halfway through the race. The Nissan, Derek Daly, the 83 car in first place. Drake Olson and Dan Gurney's number 98 Toyota sitting in second. John Nielsen in the 61 Jaguar in third. And Kevin Cogan in the 67 Nissan, who just slowed on the course, is still in fourth, with Jim Miller in the 64 Chevy in fifth position. Lap 63 done, 61 laps to go. Stay tuned for more on the IMSA Grand Prix Hour. On the IMSA Grand Prix. The 83 car, the Nissan, with Brabham on board, comes into the pits, and they're slowing to a stop. The gas is going into the car, 4 tires going on the automobile, and a driver change. Derek Daly's going to get into the automobile. All afternoon, pit stops have been long and costly, but it looks like this one's going to be very, very short. They're going to get the car out in a very short period of time, and that may mean the difference between some places on the track, you know, like winning and losing. They're getting them strapped in. The tires are on the car. They're cleaning the windshields. The gasoline is all in the automobile. The door is being closed on the car, and the car is pushed away. The clock says 30 seconds. Bill?
Out of the pits comes the 83 Nissan now with the driver change. Irishman Derek Daly, co-driver winner, out at 12 hours of Sebring gone by, and of course a driver who will replace Geoff Brabham, maybe just momentarily. Brabham possibly to get in the car to finish the final stint of this 500-kilometer Nissan Grand Prix. Of course, each and every time they get a sponsorship. And off the track again, the number 67 automobile, as he comes slow again, trying to get back into the pits, is the 67 Busby ZXT Nissan automobile, the turbocharged car. The Momo automobile, number 30, John Piero Moretti and Derek Bell, the Englishman, the driver there, motoring on. The Momo Gebhardt machine, a Porsche 962C, C configuration, meaning that it is a water-cooled car, the entire engine being water-cooled. The 962 Porsche is an air-cooled car. Continuing with the racing action here at Road Atlanta, we'll find the number 8 automobile trying to be passed now. That's the Charlie Morgan Tom Hessert Camel light car, and it'll go up the back straightaway as the pass is made to the outside. Possibly the best place to pass on this course.
The number 98 Toyota's in the pits. Fangio driving, fuel going into the car, cars up on jacks, windshield being washed, no tires being changed. The passenger's door is open. They're working on the automobile. Something's being replaced in the car, a lengthy pit stop. This could be costly out on the track.
The Buick automobile, turquoise blue, Charlie Morgan, Arkansas, the driver. One of the louvers or vents in the back seems to be gone, so a portion of the car missing, and that certainly will disrupt the aerodynamics of that second place sitting Camel Lights Cherry Hill Classic automobile of Charlie Morgan and Tom Hessert. Hessert, the 1988 champion for the Camel Lights division, and just as that trouble transpires, one of the Camel Lights cars is going to go around.
And now to Don Westcott with a great moment in today's IMSA.
It's back, the mark of the prancing horse. After many years' absence from IMSA racing, Ferrari once again is taking to the road courses of America. At Road Atlanta, Ferrari has 2 teams competing in the Camel Lights division. The number 19 car with the Tennyson Clark Fish driving team, and the number 80 car with the Fonato Melgrati Bieri team. The legend of Ferrari was built over many years of open road racing and numerous victories on the streets of Europe. Enzo Ferrari's sleek machines dominated the racing circuit for decades. The tradition of racing excellence lives on today at Pininfarina's and Ferrari's headquarters in Turin, Italy. Combining art with engineering is the Italian way. At the Pininfarina Museum, fine design and a rich racing history share the stage. And while many IMSA marques can boast of exceeding 200 miles per hour, very few, like Ferrari, build actual production cars to that spec. Enzo Ferrari's creations of just a few years ago are today's most sought-after collectibles. Will today's crop of Italian stallions take their place among the legends of the past? We'll know soon enough, because Ferrari is back.
Earlier in the week, it was cloudy, rainy, damp, and drizzly here at Road Atlanta. Most of the drivers had some thoughts about that. Rod Folia talks with some of them.
The chassis setup in the rain seemed to be very good for all the cars. Everybody would seem to have this course really nailed. Is there any really radical difference that you have to make an adjustment, keeping in mind that if it starts to rain out here, you've got to do it again?
Well, the only big change that we really do is we put a lot more downforce into the car with the wing adjustments and so on. But racing in the dry, it's really, you're taking it, you get into a rhythm here at Road Atlanta, and you're taking the car to its absolute limit all the time. And if you want to go faster, you pretty much make an adjustment to the car and hope that it's an improvement to go quicker. In the wet, you're not anywhere near the car's capability, and it's really down to the driver. It's how confident you feel with the car, the track conditions, and how much you want to put your foot into it. So it's really more down to the driver in the wet than it is in the dry.
Do you feel that you had enough time to make the adjustments in the suspension, or is there still more to be done?
I think there's still more to be done. You know, the Jaguars tested here for quite a few days a week or so ago, and the Toyotas were able to get out on Wednesday and run in the dry all day, and unfortunately today is the first time that we've been able to do that. So, you know, we were kind of chasing everybody a little bit today, and I think we learned a lot, and hopefully make a few more changes tonight and be right with them tomorrow.
It can rain at Station 6, and yet it could be really nice here. Have you made any pre-race strategies of what to do?
Well, our main concern was just making sure that the car was all right. After it burned to the ground in Sebring, the guys rebuilt it with approximately 700 man-hours to get it ready for this race. And so basically we've just been shaking it down, and if it rains race day, well, then we'll drive in the rain and we'll dread it right up to the minute we're in it. But usually our way of dealing with the rain is just go out and do it.
Hurley, the conditions today are certainly much improved over yesterday. Your times are very, very good. What do you think for the race for today, the strategies? Anything different going to happen for tomorrow?
No, you know, the track is in real good condition. Yesterday we were very happy with our time in the wet. The car really is set up very well for the wet, and we had a lot of test time in the wet. So if the conditions are wet tomorrow, I think are going to be really in good shape. Today, the track has come back very quickly, so the times are real quick for everybody, and it's going to be a real quick race. I think the pace is going to be quick. I think the Toyotas and the Jaguars will go out and the Nissan will set a very fast pace. And we I think, are going to be able to stay sort of in their wake and going to be waiting and pounce on them in the end.
Brent O'Neill's back into the pits again. They've been having problems with that car all afternoon. Some clutch problems with the automobile. It's made many pit stops, and it's way down in the standings now. He's coming into the pits very, very slowly. Usually they rush into the pits, get into the pit place, stop. The crew runs out to the car, services it. Let's see what happens here. Well, there's no running going on there. The crew is kind of walking over to the car. There goes some windshield cleaning going on. They're looking at the side of the auto. Oh, they're taking off the engine cover again on the car. Looks like they're still having some mechanical problems.
The Camel Lights leader all by himself in the white, orange, and green painted Buick automobile. The Camel GT Lights leader in points and leading this event here this afternoon at Road Atlanta. Tomas Lopez of Guadalajara, Mexico, teams with Spaniard Fermin Velez, and both of them in first and second place in the points of Camel, having won at Miami, and looks like they'll pull off a win here today if nothing happens to that Buick automobile. But a smooth drive through the S's by Tomas Lopez.
The Momo car with Derek Bell leading the 61 Jag with Price Cobb on board through the S's, and behind that it looks to be the 16 car with James Weaver driving. Now we have Fangio in the 98 car, the Toyota, Dan Gurney's Eagle running in front with the 30 Momo, Derek climbing up on his back bumper. He pulls a pass, Derek goes by him. Will Cobb make it too? Yes, Cobb makes it too before the corner. They go into the corner. The only one behind is Weaver. What's happening to Fangio in the Toyota? He seems to be slowing down. Here comes the Momo car, then Cobb in the Jaguar, and then Weaver pulls out and passes Fangio. Fangio slowing even further. As they come out onto the long back straight, there's Bell going away with the Momo car.
The battle now between the number 30 Momo Gebhardt Porsche, the red car, driven by Derek Bell, the Englishman, sitting in fourth. The seventh place car number 61, the XJR10 Jaguar.
As these three cars head around turn 1 and up over the hill, let's take a look at the leaderboard and see where we stand right now. Well, Geoff Brabham's leading the event in the Nissan, the number 83 red, white, and blue car. Juan Fangio the second, and Dan Gurney's Toyota, number 98, is second, with Price Cobb in the 61 Jaguar third. Derek Bell in the Porsche, the number 30 car, and James Weaver in the Porsche, the number 16 car, bring up fourth and fifth. 90 laps down, 34 laps to go in this event. Stay with us for the IMSA Grand Prix Hour. On the IMSA Grand Prix, Bill?
The red, white, and blue Nissan, number 83, Geoff Brabham out of Noblesville, Indiana. Easily now on the 2.5-mile circuit at Road Atlanta in the waning moments of this event.
Bill, while Brabham is leading, we've got James Weaver in the 16 Porsche running along in fifth position. Right in front of him is Derek Bell in the number 30 Momo Porsche. Both cars 962s. The 16 Porsche seems to be creeping up on the back bumper of Derek Bell a little bit as they head up into that turn. This is a very short straightaway and they can pick up some speed, but they have to brake hard here. There's some traffic up ahead. Looks like there might be some action on that back straightaway.
Coming down the long back straight toward the Goodyear Bridge, car number 60, that's the Davy Jones-driven Castrol Jaguar, followed up by the 8th place 99 Toyota Eagle, Rocky Moran, the driver there. Moran tries to make the pass. Davy Jones allowed braking in the Jaguar as they go toward the bridge, and so the move by Jones keeps him in 7th spot.
Earlier, we saw Kevin Cogan run out of fuel.
Yellow light, which is a fuel low light, always comes on and gives you a lap and a half or two, and it wasn't on at all. And the blue light came on as I was coming down the straightaway. So I thought that they had enough time.
Don Westcott looks at some strange vehicles.
We thought we'd seen all there is to see behind the scenes at a Grand Prix race until we came upon this group of vintage auto racers who, while waiting to race their classic cars, decided to build and race some very weird vehicles. Probably the strangest is this racing bar stool, built by Bob Pass of Passport Transportation, a classic car carrier.
Well, we raced a lot. We raced vintage cars, and we needed something to do in our downtime because you get bored. So a bunch of guys decided to build weird, crazy vehicles, and I decided on a bar stool. If you notice, it's got racing slicks on the rear. It's got a high-tech rack and pinion steering on the front with a downdraft spoiler because it goes pretty fast. And, of course, a safety belt to keep you on in place when you fall so that everything goes together.
Gentlemen, start your engines. The thrill of victory and another daredevil basks in the warmth of fans and admirers. Until another day, when the roar of the engines and lure of speed has Bob Pass back on his racing bar stool for just one more round for the road.
It's only been 14 days since the 12 hours of Sebring. Most of the cars on the track today participated in that race. A grueling event took its toll on cars, drivers, mechanics, crews, and teams. The 25 car, that little Buick driven by O'Neill, it's evidently having some problems. I wonder if it's associated with the Sebring beating that all of these automobiles took. Out of the other side, we've got the 99 Toyota, and coming up on the backside is the Lights leader, the 32 car. Around the corner again is O'Neill in the 25 car, evidently heading for the pits where some tired mechanics will probably get that car back in the race.
Almost a Sunday drive in the Camel Lights at Road Atlanta's 2.5-mile circuit here in the mountains of Georgia. Tomas Lopez of Mexico, the current points leader in the Camel GT IMSA race, teamed up with Spaniard Fermin Velez, but Lopez at the wheel and having almost a Sunday drive here, having outbested the rest of the Camel Lights cars. Some of the Lights cars putting on a battle early on in the race, but a lot of them going down to attrition here this afternoon.
That's right, Bill. This race has seen high attrition. Almost 50% of the field has dropped out. Jim Busby pulled the 67 Nissan out of the race after receiving a 15-minute penalty from IMSA. Remember, Cogan ran out of fuel earlier? Well, IMSA rules state that the driver or the co-driver can get fuel out to the car, but they have to walk it out. Seems the co-driver took fuel out to Cogan in a golf cart. IMSA said, That's a no-no, 15-minute penalty. So what Busby decided was, rather than risk the car out on the track to some incidents because he was 15 minutes behind, he just pulled the car out of competition, and it's gone for the day. Dan Gurney's number 99 Toyota has been in the pits several times for loose seatbelts. This same problem cost the racer, the Eagle team, Toyota, that is, a lot of places at Sebring just 2 weeks ago. I wonder if it could be the size difference between Moran and Fangio. Moran has also pitted several times for some brake problems with that particular automobile. Again, at Sebring, we saw a high incidence of brake failure with that car as well. It rained most of the week here at Atlanta, and during time trials it was raining as well. They used rain tires. Rain tires have an interesting story.
It looks like we're going to be putting all the slick tires away. However, there is a rain tire that they use for the deep rain, and that's the one over here. That's the one that has the grooves in it that are made for rain racing alone. However, what we have here is something called intermediates. And these are slicks which are grooved by hand. How do you explain, how did you do that?
Well, we basically take a grooving iron and make a pattern, and we just groove them out so the water will flow out to the side. It just sprinkles out. Light rain on the track, not a heavy load of rain on the track, and it makes the water go out the side, and you get quicker lap times that way.
What happens if you put them on backwards?
Then the water won't work. The water will be flowing the wrong way. They won't spray the water out, and then you'll be...
The cars are stretched out all around this 2.5-mile track today, getting down to the final moments of the race. 124 laps is the total race length, 500 kilometers. We've had some problems on the track today. Davy Jones has taken 2 spins off the track, 2 off-track excursions. It's done some damage to his automobile. His teammate has been running in the top 3 all day long, while Davy's been running in the 7th position. Lopez is leading the lights division by 4 laps. His V6 Buick has set a blistering pace all day long. Now, at this point in the race, let's take a look at the leaderboard and see where everybody is around this track. We've completed 108 laps. There's 16 laps left to go to finish the event. And Geoff Brabham in the Nissan, number 83 car, is leading the pace with Price Cobb's Jaguar running in the 2nd spot. Juan Fangio, the 2nd in the Toyota, and the number 98 car is in 3rd, and Derek Bell in the Porsche, the number 30 car, is in 4th place, with the other Porsche, James Weaver, the 16 car, running right up behind him in 5th place. Stay with us here in the IMSA Grand Prix Hour for the thrilling conclusion of this race, setting a blistering pace out there in front of the pack. The Jaguar is on the lead lap as well. Here he comes down to the front straight.
The last several laps, the fuelers have been standing by in the Nissan ZX Turbo pit.
It's been almost an hour since most of these cars have pitted, and most of the cars do need to pit every hour to get fuel and maybe a tire change. Fangio, 3rd place, dropped down from 2nd because of that long pit stop that he just had. The 61 Jaguar almost gets clipped by the 64. The 61 Jaguar, with Cobb at the wheel, is running 2nd. And yes, Ferrari is back, with Calvin Fish at the wheel, running 2nd in the Camel Light division and 10th overall. A nice job of driving today. The 30 car, the Momo car, with Derek Bell at the wheel, is running 4th overall. The 16 car is running 5th overall, and that's with Weaver at the wheel. There's a lot of money at stake in these races. The win today will be worth $30,000 to the victor. The Camel bonus money, $20,000, will be on top of that for all cars except the Nissan. The Nissan won at Sebring, that's with Daly at the wheel, so that makes it ineligible for the Camel bonus money. The $20,000 will be rolled over to a $40,000 pot that will be awarded to any car that completes the race at West Palm Beach in 2 weeks. The body damage that we saw on the number 8 Cherry Hill Classic car earlier must have taken its toll, because the number 32 car, that's Velez's car, is climbing up on its tail, again putting it another lap down. A little race here between the Jaguar and the Toyota. The Toyota trying to pick up an extra lap on the Jaguar. This would improve its position, but it didn't make the pass. That's the 99 car, Rocky Moran, and the 60 car of Davy Jones.
Final lap and up into the back portion of the course, the 83 red, white, and blue Nissan ZX Turbo, certainly no stranger to victory lane, having been there 3 times so far this year, and in the past several years, many times in victory lane. Brabham is at the wheel now and comes down underneath that Goodyear bridge, down underneath the bridge, past the pit entrance for the last time, not coming in. He'll come down to the checkered flag. It'll be another win for the Nissan Camel GT IMSA Racing, and ironically a win at the Nissan Grand Prix of Road Atlanta.
This is the 3rd win for the Nissan team in 4 outings. The only one they haven't won this year has been the 24 Hours of Daytona. They won Miami, they won Sebring, and they won here at Road Atlanta. Is this a repeat of last year when the Nissan team runs away with the whole season? Could very well be. Geoff Brabham brings the car into victory lane as the crew is there to greet him. This could very well be the beginning of a brand new season, a new season that's going to see the Nissan team again take 7 or 8 victories. They won here last year at Road Atlanta, and they won most of the short courses all the year long. Brabham climbs out of the automobile, people milling around to congratulate him. His co-driver, Derek Daly, congratulating Brabham on the win. The 2 of them won it. While in 2nd place, Price Cobb came in 2nd with the 61 Jaguar. Fangio was 3rd with Dan Gurney's Toyota Eagle, and in 4th place was Derek Bell with the 30 Porsche. And James Weaver took 5th place with the number 16 Porsche. Geoff Brabham, putting his hat on, collects a towel and a kiss on the cheek from Miss Camel, and now let's go over to Bill Bowser with Derek Daly.
Most of our positions were all gained in the pits. It was a hard fight right from the start with the Jaguar and the Toyota, but our crew did an excellent job, and I think it's a really good payback, not just for us, but for the people who screw these cars together.
I'll tell you what, I thought early on there, after the 84 car under Robinson had experienced problems, then gone off, boy, it all went to you and Geoff to bring it home.
Well, it did, and luckily the teams are well matched. The cars are very evenly prepared. It looks like it was a major engine problem with Chip's car, which obviously we didn't anticipate. But I think you got to take your hat off to the guys who screw these Nissans together, because they're so reliable, they're so good, the people just work well in harmony, and I tell you, it's a pleasure to be with them.
I felt at the beginning of the race that Jaguar, the Toyota and us were very even, and it was the guy who was going to go through the race with no problems and was the strongest at the end was going to win, and it was the 83 Nissan again.
Well, I'll tell you what, there for a while, we was wondering about the pit stops, you know, early on with the caution flags and everything, then you sort of have to reassemble things.
Well, we did. You know, the strategy was going to be pretty important towards the end of the race, and, you know, I'm kind of disappointed really for myself and for everybody here that the Jag and the Toyota couldn't keep it up for the whole race, because you know, it was kind of wasn't a great race at the end, not like the last 2 we've had here. We've had a couple of heart stoppers, so hopefully next year we come back, we can put on a better race at the end for everybody.
I think the entire field experienced some kind of problem other than you guys.
Well, that's what it takes to win, and you know, everybody's running so hard these days that you know, if you're not prepared to run 110% for the whole race, then you're not going to win.
And that's all for the Nissan Grand Prix of Atlanta and this episode of the IMSA Grand Prix Hour. Brought to you in part by Nissan, built for the human race. Valvoline, people who know use Valvoline. And Firestone, tires that meet the test. Join us next time when the fastest hour on television takes us to legendary Sebring International Raceway for the thrilling 12-hour Endurance Championship, featuring the Grand Touring Camel Light cars.
A frontier girl refuses to believe the truth about her past. On the Virginia, next. And at 8, 7 Central, the country was divided by war, but their struggle was to keep their family together. Don't miss Across 5 Aprils, an exclusive world television premiere, only on the Family Channel.